Hello everybody and welcome to the video I know I've been waiting for. I've been very excited about this video. Everything in 1.18 Minecraft Caves and Cliffs Part 2. What a title. Holy moly, it is here. Finally, we are getting the world update with the new caves, which I'm not looking at right now, and the new mountain biomes and the new world generation. This is a big one, a very, very big update. And at the same time, we got a fire. No, and at the same time, it's kind of a small update. It's weird because literally so much is changing, but it's all in the world and you can kind of just see it. Starting off with a few things that you can't quite see, maybe? I don't know, maybe you can. That is that the world limit has changed. So traditionally, Minecraft has been at 256 blocks that you can build from the very bottom of the world to the very top of the world. And that has changed. Instead of 256 blocks, now you have a total of 384 blocks. That is over 100 extra blocks. So before we went from 0 to 256, and now we go from negative 64 to positive 320, which is just insane that the bottom isn't 0 anymore. It's actually in the negative value, which I guess makes sense. You know, you can always go negative X, negative Y. Why not go negative Z? So that's what's going on. I guess Y is actually, you could always go negative X and negative Z, but now you're gonna go negative Y, if I was gonna say that correctly. So there is a lot more cave underground and obviously a lot more building potential above the ground as well. Because of that height limit change, the clouds have also been raised up into the air. So the clouds have been moved up because otherwise you just have clouds like in every little hill and valley. And as you can see, by the way, look at this crazy world generation. It's amazing. It's insane. It's so big, so tall. Moving on to things that you can see. And we're gonna cover mountains first. Actually, I guess let's cover just world generation in general. World generation has changed, obviously, quite a lot. A lot of the old biomes that we needed to be like connector biomes, they are no longer really needed. The world's height generation is not connected to the biome that it's associated with. So the need for like extreme hills versus, you know, another type of like tall forest that has lots of hills versus just a forest, like those extra biomes aren't really needed anymore. What we have are the base biomes, and then the height of the biome will generate independently. And there's a whole bunch of like blending that kind of goes on behind the scenes as well, I feel like, between the biomes, where they will connect better, where cold biomes will be next to cold biomes, hot biomes will be next to hot biomes. That was going on before, but I feel like it's handled a little bit differently now. Now, with the mountains, with the addition of mountains, remember this is kind of caves and cliffs. Cliffs? They didn't add cliffs in the game, but you kind of get cliffs because of the mountains. There are 6 new biomes. And I'm going to start off by covering kind of the connector biomes. These biomes happen in between biomes as they are leading up to a mountain. And that is the Meadow. And in fact, I think that this is a meadow right here. And you can see what biome we are right here in the F3 screen. So this is a meadow. And a meadow can be kind of spotted because of the flowers. It will generally just have one flower type. Over here, I almost wonder, this looks like a meadow as well, but maybe it's a plains? Oh, it is a meadow, good. So it's kind of taken over by a single type of flower, almost no trees at all, and then it's hilly, you know, its elevation it will rise up because it is going up to a mountain. So here is a meadow, and the flowers can change between the meadows, but they almost always look like this. Over here we have a plains, and as you can see, the flowers very different. Small patches of a whole bunch of different types of flowers, and the mobs are a little bit different too. Meadow, and the color of grass is different. Anyway, that's how you spot a meadow. moving on to the grove. And I can see that we have a small amount of grove on this mountain here. Oh, it looks like we might have more. So basically, this is another connecting biome between things that aren't crazy high elevation and things that are crazy high elevation. So right here where there are these trees, that is a grove. The difference between a grove and a meadow is basically the trees. A grove will spawn in with trees. And so I'm pretty sure that over here also we have more grove. Yeah, we go from a meadow to a grove right here to Jagged Peaks and then back to a grove. Actually, I always call it jagged. It's just jagged. Jagged Peaks, the jagged. But I will constantly call them jagged because that's just what makes sense in my mind. Here is just a mountaintop full with only grove. This is only grove right here. And this one happens to be cold, but it doesn't need to be cold. So we're still kind of taking a look at the connecting biomes. So we're moving on from grove to snowy slopes. And I think that this is a snowy slopes right here too. Snowy slopes, it is. So once again, think of this as the transition biome between things that are lower elevation to higher elevation like the mountains. And so snowy slopes will be this edge of the mountains. And you can basically tell because they are snowy. They are going to be very, very, very snowy. You'll get rabbits and goats that spawn up here. And also on the snowy slopes, this is the first time that we are seeing the natural generation of powder snow. Where is this powder snow? I'm looking for you. I'm on the hunt. I'm on the hunt for natural occurring powder snow. It's hard to see. Is this it? I think it is it. Yes, this is all powder snow. You can see the difference in the texture right there. See how that was a little crunchier and this was a little smoother? So this is powder snow. I always want to call it powdered snow. But this, if you were to, just be adventuring, will obviously get you trapped. And you have to use your leather armor. We've seen powder snow before. This is inside of the first update, but it wasn't naturally generating. So all the tips and tricks and tools and whatnot, I've already kind of covered because we already got it in an update, but now it will naturally generate on the side of a hill. Or in the snowy slopes, that is. And the texture change is so subtle. It is very, very subtle. A lot of times I'm telling that it's powder snow because there's not like this little snow layer on there anymore, and it's just a straight up block. So right here you can see a little bit smoother, little bit less smooth, and that's how you tell the difference. If you're wearing leather boots, you won't sink in. If you're wearing leather armor, you won't freeze. If your horse or whatever you're riding on, I guess it's only a horse because that's the only thing. It can have leather armor, but if it has leather armor, then it will not get hurt, and any mobs that fall into it will freeze. Moving on. And we already kind of checked this one out, and that is the Jagged Peaks. Jagged Peaks, I'm just going to go through them really quick. You got Jagged Peaks, you got Frozen Peaks, and you have Stony Peaks. And Jagged Peaks are the pointiest of the peaks. You can see that they all sort of end in triangles, and so they are going to be the most dynamic peaks. They're going to be the most contrasting with the land around them. And that's just kind of what they are. So they're just, stone. There's nothing special about them. You can't find anything special in them. But they are stone pointy peaks. If we have Jagged Peaks over there, this is some snowy, or I guess frozen peaks. These are frozen peaks. Frozen peaks are frozen. Pretty easy to remember. They got the ice on them. They have blue ice, which is fun to harvest. You could use this in the nether and boat around really quickly. And so they have a lot of the same definition as the Jagged Peaks, but they are going to have ice mixed in to them. Oh my gosh, look at this cave entrance. Dripstone cave. We're going to get to that later. And it looks awesome. I love it. There's one more type of peak, and that is the Stony Peaks, and that looks like a Jagged Peaks. I don't think this is a stone. Yeah, this is Jagged. Okay, let's go find Stony Peaks. Here is one now, and this is in this rather warm climate of the jungle. And as you can see, it has this vein kind of running through it. Isn't that interesting? So this is calcite, and that will happen inside of this biome. Is you'll get this big calcite sort of layer in there. Perfect place to harvest calcite if you are trying to build with calcite, because before it was a little bit difficult to find this stuff. It generated around the amethyst geodes, but this is obviously enough to actually build a house out of, build a building out of, and whatnot. And I was pointing out the warm biome, and that's because this is more of a warm biome peak. The other two are going to be more frozen and cold, and this one is going to be in warm and hot climates that way, because I mean obviously there's no snow growing on it. So that is the last of the 6 new biomes. One more thing that I want to cover is that pillager outposts can generate on all of the 6 new biomes, and igloos can spawn on, I believe it's just the snowy slopes biome. You can get igloos, so you can get those structures, and I would love to see an outpost, an illager outpost on top of a mountain, like the highest little peak. You got your villager outpost. Terrifying. I would love to see that. Moving on to caves, the second part of this update, and as you can see, holy moly, the caves are insane. I would guess that there is like 300% more cave than we've ever had before in Minecraft. So, one thing before we get into like the cave biome types and kind of all the other stuff is that there's a new thing called ore veins. And ore veins are huge deposits of either copper or iron. And I made a whole video about ore veins, how to find them, what they are, and if you want to harvest them yourself, how to do that. And so please check out that video. But that is a new thing. If you need to find a ton of iron or a ton of copper, you may want to go searching for some ore veins. So, caves. Underground, there's now 2 distinct layers of underground world, and you can tell because of the stone that it's made out of. So up here above Y0, you have normal stone. This is everything we've come to expect from caves, like cave generation. And then once you go below the 0 mark, which is all new generation, you will get deep slate, and so the stone will change into this deep slate type of stone. And deep slate can be used in almost and basically all the recipes that stone can be used in. It will also, when you break it, you'll get cobbled deep slate, sort of like cobblestone, that sort of thing. So it's useful and it's very cool to look out. It's a much darker type of stone, and it has this awesome texture, and it has a ton of extra blocks that can be made into tiles and stairs, slabs, all that sort of stuff. Deep slate was in part 1, so I'm not really going to cover all that because we've already had deep slate for a while, but this is where a ton of it will generate now underground. I guess let's cover the new biomes. And once again, we got a lot of this in part 1, but we didn't get the world generation we were expecting. So as you can see, we are inside of dripstone caves, and biomes can now be 3-dimensional. So you can have dripstone caves here, but up at the surface, you have a jungle. And so this is 2 different biomes within the same vertical space, which is really, really cool. Obviously, this looks very different from the dripstone that we were getting in part 1. Lots more dripstone, especially the dripstone blocks, the hanging dripstone, and the stalagmites and stalactites. All of that is just looking absolutely incredible. That's only one of the biomes. The other is the lush caves, and here they are. This is the lush cave. It has the moss on the ceiling. It has these amazing bloom spore blossoms right there. Holy moly, cannot wait to harvest those in my world. Obviously, lots of green, and this is where axolotl should spawn inside of these aquifers. Aquifers are also new. So there is a local water level for caves, and same thing with lava. So you can have aquifers of lava and you can have aquifers of water, but as you can see, this is kind of encapsulated in this little pool, except for right here, and that will give us a local little water spot to hang out in and to have some water. We got some water over here. Can't tell if this is an aquifer. It is an aquifer, so we got a big old aquifer, huge aquifer right here, going up to this cave system right here where we have the dripstone and the lush at the same time. And as you can see, it's just really, really, really neat. And then also, I'm going to go ahead and remove my my night vision, because now all of the glow berries really matter and they really add a lot of light. We got the Leica and whatnot throughout the build, and so the world generation looks really, really good. I'm loving that new light source things will generate naturally. So as with the new biomes and the extended limit and whatnot, you may just notice that there's just a whole lot more caves, like I was mentioning before. And that's because cave noise, or the way that we are generating these caves, has changed. Before, I feel like you could like go at a diagonal and like miss a few caves. I don't feel like you can do that anymore. So you got like noodle caves and cheese caves and pasta caves and marinara sauce caves. You got all sorts of caves. I made up a few of those right now, but the cave generation, suffice it to say that the cave generation itself has changed quite a lot. So we have a lot more branches of caves, cave types, large, huge caves, that sort of stuff, all generating now inside underground, where before we kind of just had like the one type of cave. And so now all of this cave noise generates what you're seeing now. It's all technical stuff that I don't feel like anyone actually cares about, so I'm not going to cover it. And finally, with the caves, is ore distribution. And because there is like so much more land and above and below, where ores generate has changed just a bit. Specifically, I'm going to focus on diamonds. Diamonds still start to generate at the same spot, but they like keep going and keep becoming more and more prevalent the farther down you get. So there's going to be a new diamond level, basically, because you got your diamonds that will spawn much more readily way underground. And I bet you that like the best diamond level is going to be right near the bedrock layer, which it's still there, but it'll be right near the bedrock layer, because diamonds should be a lot easier to get lower down. Now, you do have to contend with deep slate. Deep slate takes a little bit longer to mine, so you're going to have to mine through it a little bit longer, but you should probably be able to find a few more diamonds than you normally did. And I'm going to pop up a little image of the ore distribution chart. It does say not final, but we're getting into the last days here, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be final here. And so what does all that mean? Like, where should I search for diamonds? Where should I search for emeralds? Where should I search for all that? I'm still not sure yet. I think I broke my game. Okay, no, we're fine. The community will figure out over time, but there is a completely new ore generation, and as well as all the new world generation. A few more things before we wrap up, and that is that there is some new loot. Specifically, the music disc. And I doubt that I'll find it here. I found a music disc, but not the music disc, and that is the other side music disc from Lena Rain. And that is a brand new sound. You can find it inside of these dungeons, and you can also find it inside of corridors inside of the strongholds where the end portal is. And that is a very, very rare music disc. In fact, I feel like it is too rare, mostly because you cannot duplicate discs. There is no disc cloning inside of Minecraft. So if you find one, It's very, very lucky, and there's most likely not a ton in a normal world that you would search. You'd have to really go searching to find more music discs, which is, I feel like, a bummer. Another thing is that you can now upgrade your old worlds, and there is a lot of technology built in to making sure that they mesh and work with the brand new world generation. So there will be edge blending, which will make sure that if a hard edge happened because the world was generating and now it's not generating anymore, that it'll blend into the new biomes and whatnot instead of just one harsh edge. Another thing is that the cave system will also blend as well. So below, you're going to get all of that cave stuff underneath, where you used to have just void. Now you'll also have the crazy caves as well underneath Y0. Finally, there are some new advancements inside of the game. I don't have any because I haven't been playing in a mode that gets advancements, but there are new advancements to go along with all of the new stuff. And there is new music for some of the new biomes. So as you're heading out into the wild new world, you can get some brand new music. Why don't we get new music from C418, by the way? I have a petition to bring back some C418 music because he's a classic. He is the old school, and we need to give him more love. So that is basically it for 1.18. See, it would have been C418, 1.18. Why didn't you bring him back, folks? I hope that you go and download this and play it for yourself. Oh, by the way, huge difference between this and other versions is that we have version parity and seed parity. What on earth between the Java edition and the Bedrock edition? That means that seeds, which is the thing that generates the world here. I can show you the seed of this world right here. There it is. So if you want this world, you can type that into the world generation option when you first make this world, and it will generate the same world. Everything you build and everything after that won't get saved, but the world generation will be the same between Bedrock and Java edition. Absolutely incredible. I love that feature because it's going to be making finding seeds so much more fun that you don't have to worry about what version of Minecraft it's in. And that's it for Minecraft 1.17. I've been showing off in Java edition, but basically everything I mentioned works in Bedrock as well. And I'll see you in another video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe for future videos, tips, tricks, tutorials, and spotlights. If you love my videos, I have a Facebook page that's linked in the description, and I am uploading like every single day. We're doing lots of marketplace content over there. So if you just absolutely can't get enough of me, please check out that Facebook link in the description down below. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye!